and welcome back to another Space Engineers showcased video. In today's video, I am once again taking a look at one of your designs that you've linked me in the comment section of one of my videos. And if you wish to see something of yours shown on this channel, just leave me the Steam Workshop link somewhere and I'll eventually get around to it. But for today, we're looking at something large and full of cargo containers. This is the HMS Unsinkable 2, which is a large freighter-like ship for you to fly around and transport goods from one place to another. It features a small hangar bay for you to fit a little fighter or perhaps miner inside. It's got turrets on it, not too many, just enough to deter the odd pirate coming close to you, and plenty of containers to store everything you need to transport. Pressing F10 and finding it in the spawn menu, there it is. This thing, it says it's 17,945 large blocks, but it does require the decorative block number 1 and number 2 DLC packs. If I was just to spawn this in like so, the total blocks is only 3,665. So it's a lot less scarier than it says on the Steam Workshop page. So what we're going to do is have a quick look around the outside of this ship, then we'll go for a tour of the interior, and it does have a large interior and lots of ways to get lost, so that'll be fun. Yes, and after that we'll do a quick little thruster test and perhaps spawn in a enemy to see how well those turrets can deal with a oncoming pirate. So at the very front here, this is what we get, a bunch of ion thrusters. Ion thrusters are the only form of thrust that appear on this ship, so we can only go around space. So we'll be going from a space station to an asteroid to perhaps another space station for our journey. We got 2 spotlights there to help light up the darkness, and a connector just in case you need some extra point to dock up to a station. We can see 2 large ion thrusters just pointing down to help us on our up and down, and just above there we have got some Gatling guns to defend ourselves. And then as we move around the sun is on this side now, so let's go around here. We've got some lovely battered armoured blocks in a creamy and grey and white colours, which does look great. As we move around the side, even more ion thrusters. There are a lot on this ship, and it's very much needed if you fill this thing up. We've got another connector there which does sit on a piston that allows it to extend out and reach over to perhaps another large ship who needs to transfer goods. We've got an LCD screen just above that to make sure that you know it's going to extend out with a little warning label on there. I'm sure if you can actually see it properly, but there it is. And then as we move along, we'll see more ion thrusters and a load of our DLC catwalks, which go all the way around this ship. The one which comes below here is a small walkway that does lead to a sneaky little room where our jump drive is being housed, and does come all the way across over to some stairs over there, which is how we're going to primarily get in and out of the ship. Just below that, across over here, we've got little rooms for us to go and spend our lives inside. So we've got our little beds in there, and we've got a little small room attached onto it. We've got little chairs, we've got a shower, a locker, and a toilet. But we'll come back to that when we go on the inside. So coming all the way out there, we can see some large hydrogen tanks going all the way across, which we'll use to transfer to stations or ships that need a recharge. There are some modules, and below there in this little room we can see some cryopods to recharge ourselves or to store a prisoner. Then over here, this is our network of stairs that will eventually lead down and into the ship, or it'll come all the way up to the top here. We've got a bunch of little walkways just in case we needed to do some maintenance work on all the conveyors linking everything up, and of course the turrets at the front. Towards the back, we've got a door with another connection point just below it and a merge block on top. This is how we're going to connect up safely to a station or a ship, provided something of the ship doesn't get in the way. Is there if you needed to have a secure connection. Moving across, we've got plenty of little windows, more ion thrusters, and even more lovely block work to give it that great shape. Towards the back, we've got another Gatling gun and some oxygen generators, just to make sure we're tip-topped and won't run out when on a long voyage. And this is our main thrust at the back. We've got a bunch more ion thrusters. We can see some landing gear which have been sneakily hidden away inside there, holding up some more thrusters. We've got a beacon right at the back with some catwalks covering it up, and we've got 2 large ion thrusters to help push us along, and we really need these when we're full up. So coming down and underneath this first, we can see how that's all been connected up, and even more oxygen generators are sitting right there, with some blinking lights that go all the way along the bottom of this ship. Let me just turn off my light. Here they go again. Look at that go. Perfect stuff. As we move along, we've got some solar panels for some renewable power. We can see the bottoms of our connection points, the bottoms of our stairs with more thrusters. Then towards the front, we can then see our catwalks which come past our large cargo containers, which then lead into our jump drive room. Some more solar panels, another connection point to dock up to, and then towards the front, some large ion thrusters. And there we go. Coming up to the top, let's come up here and take a looky. There's our turrets, we've got our catwalks, we go all the way along towards our bridge. Some more auction farms, I think I called them generators earlier. Some more connectors, a lot of catwalks to get lost on where we can see all our connectors, our sorters, and conveyor junctions. And then towards the back, we've got ourselves our bridge, which is this thing right here. We've got a few control seats in there, only one of them is set up to work. We've got a projector table displaying the entire ship right there. And if we come all the way around this towards the back, this is our hangar bay where we can store a small ship or a small miner depending on what you want to do. We've got a button panel which allows it to open up, where when we press the button, the alarms will sound and then it will open up and allow us to go inside. And this is what we get. So like I said, it is quite a small area and there are plenty of connectors there to make sure any kind of ship is able to connect up and unload goods. Yes, there's that. And at the back there, there's our auction farms with one more connector and a doorway to get in and out the ship. And with that all done, that is a brief around the outside. So now we've got to go for the inside. So getting hold of my character, I'm currently standing where our catwalks are all being spread out. And we will need to come all the way, let's say, down to here first of all. So coming across to this bit, because it is a bit of a dead end, we'll come past our hydrogen tanks, our rusted cargo containers, to this doorway right here. Going inside, we've got a double door for an airlock, and we do have a script to control the door, which is great. You don't need to close them up behind you. So this is what we get. We get one singular jump drive, a bunch of O2H2 generators, conveyors going everywhere, and a few lights just to light up the darkness. Coming up these steps and around the back of our jump drive, we can see we've got an ore detector there just in case we need it. And then looking up, there's our conveyor going all the way across. That is all this room has. We do have a little seat there so your engineer can have a rest, and we do have a little science bay to do some nefarious experiments, and we can see behind here our cargo containers and hydrogen tanks. But coming out of this bit and all the way, there we go, all the way through this bit, we can now run all the way along and then we'll head down to the lowest part of the ship. So jumping over that, past a bunch of modules, we've got some lovely half steps, come all the way down to the bottom here. Oop, I almost fell off that by sprinting. Then we'll come across over to here. We've got a doorway on this side, which will then close up behind us, and a doorway over here, which is how we're going to, say, dock up and get into the ship from another ship or station. So coming over to here, opening up this door and letting all the oxygen out. Oop, there we go. This is the interior. We've got LCD screens displaying where we're going, so we've got our exits there and our reactor room over here, which we can go inside, and we have one large reactor. Around the edges of the room, we've got some blue conveyors that go into sorters. They can go into some yellow conveyors, go all the way around the room. Going towards the back, even more sorters, even more conveyors, an air vent there just in case we need it, and a bunch of containers here and batteries lining the wall. So this is how we're going to power the ship, so you want to defend this room with your life. Let's just come around all the here, and there we go. So coming past the reactor and heading on into the ship, through this doorway, we are greeted by a bunch of gyroscopes for some manual controls. Of course, we don't want to switch them down any more than they are, because this ship is very hard to steer with the sheer size and weight. Going forwards towards this door before we go up those steps, there we are, we then come over to our living quarters. They are both the same on each side, so we'll simply look at this side, where we've got our cryopod room, with an LCD screen displaying everything about our ship, our solar panels, our batteries, and our oxygen. Coming out this doorway and continuing along, we do have some DLC chairs lining in the middle of the room to have a nice relaxing time with your friends. we can come across to this doorway, where we come to our first little living quarters, where we've got a chair, we've got ourselves a shower, a locker, a bed, and a toilet, which is very nice. Coming all the way around over to here, we then have a similar setup in a blue colour. Coming out of there, and going towards this one at the back, we then have another one in a green colour. And of course, like I said, they're the same on the opposite side. So there we go. At the very back here, we've got ourselves a vending machine in case you need some clang cola, and a window to view outside at our little docking bay there, and our catwalks going across to it. Turning around and coming out of this room, going all the way towards this part, and coming up the steps, we can continue going around this ship. So in this area here, we've got some programmable blocks, which all go to these LCD screens. We've got stuff telling us what's in our cargo containers, then have our solar panels and batteries. We then got our power usage and all that. And then we have this one over here telling you what is consuming the most power, where the worst one is our gravity generator. And of course our traditional O2 and H2 supply bars. So looking around the room here, this is our programmable block. Over here we've got our LCD updates. Then around onto this one, we then have our power display and manager. So before we go up top, let's come through this doorway over here, where we're going to be greeted by a bunch of modules, an air vent over here, and an open conveyor slot. We'll simply use this room as a repair room in case it took damage in battle. So coming back through here, whoop, there goes the door again. We can now come around to here and head up these steps. So all the way around, up these. We then come up to a medical bay to respawn on and recharge ourselves, a gyroscope which can be used as an access point to change stuff on the ship. Then coming around over to here, we've got a little junction. Coming down the steps and around to here, we'll then go further down into the ship once again, where we can open up the doorway and we return to our reactor room, but we're now on the second floor up, where we've just got some batteries over here. We can access our sorters and we just peer down at anyone being silly inside there. Coming back through here and then up the steps. Whoop, these doors are trying to kill me. So all the way up to here and around again. We've got a few more ways where we can go. We can go through that door, or we can come around and go through this or down there. So turning around and coming around to here, let's go up these steps first of all. Opening up this doorway, this is going to lead us to our hangar bay, which will have to be opened up from the outside, or just by accessing one of these and coming over to our hangar and opening it all up. Yes, it's a very small room compared to my character. It'll be a very tight fit for any kind of small ship, but it's still nice to have a hangar of some sort. Coming around and through here, opening up this doorway, and over to here, this will then lead to the outside, the back of our ship. We've got another connection point and our auction farms, and then we got this little drop off right here where our large iron thrusters are sitting. Turning around and going back through, all the way through like so. And then past our hangar bay, where we can see it's being pumped up with oxygen. So accidentally open the door. So through here. Then we can go around over to here. There we go. Where we have another little conveyor room. Some more tight stairways going all the way around and up. Then we see even more programmable blocks and a timer block. The timer block here is controlling all the doors on the ship on a simple 4-second timer. But if you don't like that, you can always use a programmable block around the ship and change it to the auto door and airlock script if that's what you're after. Yeah, I'll leave the programmable blocks as they are, because they are generally for the LCD screens on the floor below. But on our left and our right, we've got a jukebox and a vending machine, as well as a small desk to peer out at our Gatling guns at the front. And the same is over here. Please be quiet, I'm trying to record, thank you. Yes, around here we then got a kitchen bay to cook some food, and on the opposite side, that's the stairs that go down, which is where we came from. So coming all the way up the top here and around, we'll then come up to our bridge, where our projector table is displaying the ship, so if we don't want that, we can always toggle that off. And we've got two little seats. This seat over here is how we're going to fly this thing around, and this seat is empty for you to set up. Perhaps you would like to control the Gatling gun. So we just take a Gatling turret and take control, and now we've got manual control over it to blast your enemies with. Behind us, an air vent and some desks to sit on, but I'll come back to the seat a little bit later because I think there is one more place that I did miss out. I did miss something out, and it's quite a simple one. It's the catwalks going around this connector at the bottom of the ship. It does have some diagonal railings which is being used as support struts coming across, which is a very good idea. Very good idea indeed. Yes, this comes all the way across to some steps that come all the way around up to the top here. We've got a small walkway between our cargo containers, which then leads across to our room which had the jump drive in. If I peer through the window, there's the jump drive. Yes, this then comes all the way up to here and over to our gravity generator, which sits right there. So there's a small little maintenance area for you to do some work on there if you took damage at some point. And this is the controls we get. Number 1, 2 and 3 is for our ion thrusters, where number 1 is a simple on-off switch for everything around the ship. Number 2 is to turn off the large ion thrusters at the back there. And number 3 is for the large ion thrusters below. 4 is our gravity generator, 5 for our battery to auto or recharge, 6 for our refineries on and off, 7 for our O2H2 generators, and number 8 is for our pistons for the connectors at the front there. So if you can't connect up because your ship's too big, you can now extend them out and make it easier for them to dock up. On tab number 2, we've got another control for our rear thruster where we can turn the large ones on and off. Number 2 is a projector block to project the entire ship once again to allow for easy repair. 3 for our connectors to lock or unlock, 4 for our large reactor to turn it on and off, 5 for our antenna, 6 to jump. We can only jump 897 kilometers because of our sheer weight, and that is only with one jump drive. 7 is to recharge our jump drive on and off, and 8 and 9 are for our cameras for our extended out connectors. So that's the left, that's the right. And there we go. On tab number 3, we then have a control for our gyroscopes, and then everything else is empty, so it's time to do a thruster test. So going forwards, this is what we get. We are quite slow, but still surprisingly fast for such a large and heavy ship. We are slowly crawling up to our maximum speed, but if I was to let go, we are very slow at stopping, so you have to make sure there is plenty of room between you and your destination to make sure you don't come crashing into it and destroying their base. Going left and going right, we are quite slow again, but that's to be expected. Going down, we are very slow, but going up, we are surprisingly fast. Look at that go up. That's pretty damn good. So you can pull away from an exploding station in an emergency. And as for moving my mouse around, this is our speed. We are very, very slow, but it does suit this size of hulking freighter. So what I've got here to finish this off is the Albatross, which is a very similar sized ship, except the Albatross has a hell of a lot more guns on it, so I don't expect this to be a very fair fight, but it will show you how well this ship can do in combat where it's severely outgunned. So I've given both of these plenty of ammunition, can take control of my character, give the Albatross to the space pirates. There we go. And let's see what happens. So the guns are now firing on each other. And yes, it is very, very one-sided. Hopefully the turrets can do some work. Maybe the turrets can take out the Albatross's turrets before they destroy them. Yes, we can see there the guns are now firing across. They're going for the main body, which is the cargo containers and hydrogen tanks first. Whereas the Gatling guns over there are trying to chew away at the main body to get to their cargo containers. And there we go, they're just going to keep going backwards and forwards. Not too sure who is going to win here, because if they blow up the Albatross's tanks at the front there, or the cargo containers at the front, that means they disconnect all the ammunition going to the turrets. And it looks like some of the turrets on the Albatross have been disabled already. This one over here is gone. And then we have over here towards the back, it looks like we've lost the turret right there. And they are doing a pretty good job at each other, really. Let's just come over to this and see what's going on. What kind of damage have we had inside? Not too much, but we are breaking a part. And we might run out of ammunition. I did give a hell of a lot more ammunition to the Albatross because it did have a lot more turrets. And I am wondering if that's going to screw everything over. It looks like... Nope, they're still firing. They're still going for it. Not actually sure what they're trying to shoot over here. So let's just come through here. Oh, they're going for the batteries. That's a clever idea. But it looks like the Gatling guns might have started to turn on the other Gatling guns. I'm not too sure. I can hear explosions galore going on at the back here as they try and chew away at the hangar bay. Yes, it looks like it's going to take quite some time to do. The Gatling guns at the back there are disabled, so is the auction farm. Not too sure how well this is going to go overall. There is a random connector there. I'm not sure where this came from. It might... Oh, that's the one with the piston in from the front. There's an explosion. That was a hydrogen tank going. They are now starting to chew away at the internals. The armor blocks over here are doing great work at defending those batteries. Let's come around to here, see what's going on. Yep, there are the hydrogen tanks going. We've lost one of them. And there's the stairs going in and out. How are we doing on the inside here? If we were to bring the character in. That's a juicy sound. We can see outside there. We can just walk along, perhaps even go up these steps. Not those steps. Let's come around to here. We are starting to lose everything. Can I get around to these steps? I could just about do that. Get up to the next stage. The medical bay is now offline. Coming all the way around. Can we go up further? This is the hangar. We can now see outside there. Coming back down. Let's see if we can go up a little bit more. Can't remember where we had to go. I think it was on the opposite side of that. All the way around. Opening up this doorway. This seems fine. Nothing bad is happening. Over here, we've lost one programmable block and we can now walk straight outside. Really surprised those Gatling guns are still firing. And they are still hammering away at the main body. We can come up these steps around here. Hopefully this isn't too destroyed. Well, the bridge seems to be going well. This seat over here is still usable. And yes, they're just going to keep on firing into each other. It's a very well done ship to be able to take that kind of punishment and still be usable. So if we come over to here, what do we have? We are now down to 2 Gatling turrets on the Unsinkable. And over here, we're down to, it looks like we've got roughly 4 turrets remaining on the Albatross. But yes, this is going to take some time, so I will leave this here. The Unsinkable 2 is a nice little ship if you did want to do some transporting of goods between stations, perhaps doing some contracts and all that. And there'll be a link to it in the description below if you did want to play around with it, along with a link to the Skybox I am currently using. So yes, thank you all for watching, and I will be back with another video some point soon. Bye bye.